At the start, Gary towed Maddie's car for the reason that the girl was not paying her taxes, but upon their conversation, it was revealed that Gary and Maddie had some intimate relationship before, but since Maddie ghosted Gary, so he's there to tow the car. Maddie used her charm to Gary, but a guy in underwear came off the house and Garen saw that, so the towing continued. The same day, Maddie was using her skates and luckily saw her towed car in a parking lot. She took the opportunity to take back her car, but she failed. She still has until September 14th to pay her taxes, or else she will be evicted to her mother's house where she lived in. Her work, she seems not in the mood because of what happened to her. She hates the rich people and blames them why she has high taxes. Then while chatting, a friend told her about an ad that looking for a pretty girl. Who can date their son who is 16 and help him get out of his shell. If successful, they will pay a lot at first. She's hesitant, but sooner decided to take the opportunity and meet her clients Allison and Laird. She's having a hard time climbing up the stairs with her skates on through. The conversation, the couple learned that Maddie is already 32 years old. Way more years to their preferred age. But since Maddie is a natural talker, the couple decided to get her service and the Percy mission is on. Next we see Percy lying on his bed playing piano in a 3D game. The next morning we see Percy came on the animal shelter and there's Maddie. She successfully got his attention and pretended to adopt a dog. To make sure that Maddie is a suitable person to adopt, he interviewed the girl. The atmosphere there is hot because of Maddie's presence. The interview stopped, but a smart Maddie convinced Percy to drive with her to complete the interview. Percy noticed that they weren't going to his house and saw Ebola in the back. He was nervous and wanted help from 911, so he sprayed Maddie's eyes because he thought she was kidnapping him. When he realized he was wrong, she gave her a wide hose splash. Maddie said Percy is super hot, so a date is set for tomorrow. The next day, Maddie is with her friends telling them about yesterday and wanting a big van for her date tomorrow. Mel arrives and they gossip about her having a sugar daddy and that Maddie should copy Mel for instant success. Maddie doesn't want that. The date comes, and Percy felt awkward because he was the only teen there and he was wearing shorts. They leave the place and go to the closed beach, take off their clothes and swim, but there are dunk people who took their clothes. Maddie wrestled them and got back their clothes. She wants to finish the mission, so she asked Percy to F her, but the boy said no. Maddie gave up, walked away, and went to the car. Percy requested his clothing over phone. Maddie couldn't find the phone, so Percy jumped to the car's hood to keep her from running away. Maddie accelerates the car and won't stop it, but a police patrol saw them and Maddie accelerated further to beat the train's signal light in a woman's house. Maddie seems to regain her mission to Percy while dancing in front of him. Maddie wants closeness but discovered the boy's back itching, thus mission failed again. Maddie helped him relieve the itching and they decided to meet again tomorrow to complete the deed. They've spent a lot of time together doing everything that makes them know one another. In the unread letter from her father, Maddie informed Percy about her father and why she didn't attend to prom. Percy kissed her and met the boy's nanny Jody. He's a male. Percy catches a frisbee thrown by Jody while on it. Jody questions Maddie's motives towards the boy, while Jody is protective of Percy. Doug Kahn, a former classmate and now a real estate broker, offers Maddie to sell her house for a higher price to avoid eviction due to unpaid taxes. Maddie pushed him away. Prom night. Percy and Maddie are in the limousine giving each other praises on supper. Maddie asked Percy to play piano for her, even though he was nervous. Percy played in Sing Man-Eater, and Maddie was drawn to the boy's talent. The audience applauded and Maddie couldn't believe how good he was. Natalie, Percy's schoolmate, approached their table and invited him to a party. Maddie didn't want to because they had plans, but Natalie gave the party's address. Once the boys sat down, Percy wanted Maddie to visit him every weekend. Percy appears exhausted, so Maddie helps him vomit. The parents of one of the guys Maddie clashed with arrived and wanted Maddie out and Percy to remain. Maddie was struck in the throat in the limousine as Percy became upset and wanted to fight the guy. Percy will F Maddie and admit he loves her. Maddie was shocked and told Percy that they can't do the F if he's drunk. The next day, Percy was full of energy, and his parents were happy to see him. Percy wanted his own car because he'll get his license soon. But the bad news was that he didn't want to go to Princeton anymore because his girlfriend Maddie didn't want to do long distance. The parents called Maddie and told her that she can get the car without having AF with Percy felt misled when he double-booked a meal with his family, and Maddie arrived. Percy is now mocking Maddie's age and being a gentleman on his date in front of his parents. Percy got a call from his friend, and they started to crash the Buick car Maddie wanted. The boy went back but didn't go to the table instead. He went upstairs. Maddie went to Percy's room and asked what was wrong with the boy. The boy wanted to F her, and she gave him permission, but Percy came without starting. Percy told Maddie that her car was in the forest, crashed by a tree, and that he knew about there. Maddie felt bad, but Percy was wounded and wanted Maddie to go. Maddie felt lonely and alone the next day. Gary delivered the crashed Buick to her house. Percy lectured his parents that he's an adult and let him fail and succeed on his own. Maddie is now using her Buick to work and earn for her house. Finally, Maddie's goal was met, and the celebration began. Her friend told Addie that they would move to Florida soon, and that Maddie needed to be happy because she didn't look like one. She came home with a restaurant employee and felt disgusted by his weird idea of the last. She burned the unopened mail for her father and finally got her Buick, which looked brand new. She saw Gary and hugged him. She made the house for sale with Doug Kahn Realty. Maddie stunned her pal by telling her she owns her home so they can't relocate to Florida. Percy is packing for Princeton and saying goodbye to his parents. Maddie is waiting outside as an Uber driver for him and their pet dog Milo.